The courtyard echoed with the shrill screech of Karen's voice, a sound that could curdle milk and ruin a perfectly good sunset. "You little brats better shut up, or I'll call the cops," she bellowed, her jowls quivering like a bulldog's as she leaned over her third-floor balcony. Below, the kids froze, their soccer ball rolling to a stop against a cracked curb. Maria, a single mom who worked double shifts at the diner, clenched her fists. She'd had enough. Karen wasn't just a neighbor. She was a one-woman dictatorship. Her reign of terror over the Oakwood apartments had started innocently enough a complaint about a loud TV here, a gripe about a parked car there. But her latest crusade against the kids playing in the courtyard had pushed everyone to the edge. The courtyard was the only safe space for the children in this rundown building, a concrete oasis where they could laugh, run, and forget the world's weight for a few hours. Karen, however, saw it as her personal battlefield, where she waged war against joy itself. That evening, the air was thick with tension. The kids, 3 of them, no older than 10, had been kicking a soccer ball around, their giggles mingling with the hum of cicadas. Karen's balcony outburst wasn't new, but it was the loudest yet. "This is a respectable building," she shouted, her voice dripping with condescension. "Not a playground for your filthy spawn." The word spawn hit Maria like a slap. She stepped forward, her sneakers scuffing the pavement, and looked up at Karen's smug face. "They're kids, Karen," she said, her voice low but sharp. "They're not hurting anyone." "Not hurting anyone," Karen scoffed, her chins wobbling as she crossed her arms. "Their noise is giving me migraines. I deserve peace in my own home." The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Karen's peace meant silencing everyone else. She'd called the landlord about every minor infraction bikes left in the hallway. Music played past 8 p.m. Even Mrs. Carter's cat meowing too loudly. Her complaints were a daily ritual, and her disdain for the working-class families around her was palpable. To Karen, they were all beneath her, despite her living in the same crumbling complex. The father, Jamal, joined Maria, his jaw tight. "You don't own this place, Karen," he said, his voice steady but laced with fury. "These kids have a right to play." The children huddled behind him, their eyes wide. Little Sophia, clutching her stuffed bunny, whispered, "Is she going to make us stop forever?" The question hung in the air, unanswered, as Karen's tirade continued. "I'll have you all evicted." She spat. "I know the landlord personally." That was the final straw. Maria and Jamal exchanged a glance, a silent agreement forming. Karen had crossed a line, and the neighbors were done cowering. Over the next week, whispers spread through the building like wildfire. Meetings were held in cramped living rooms, over cups of cheap coffee and hushed voices. The plan was simple but bold, a petition to the landlord, signed by every family, demanding Karen's removal for creating a hostile living environment. It wasn't just about the kids, it was about every snide remark, every baseless complaint, every time Karen had made someone feel small. By Friday, the petition had 42 signatures, one from every household except Karen's. Maria, who'd taken the lead, felt a flicker of hope as she slid the document under the landlord's door. But hope was fragile, and Karen wasn't one to go quietly. When she caught wind of the petition thanks to a nosy maintenance worker, she stormed into the courtyard the next evening, waving a copy she'd somehow gotten her hands on. "You think you can get rid of me?" she shrieked, her face red as a tomato. "I've lived here longer than any of you. I'm not going anywhere." The neighbors gathered, drawn by the commotion. Mrs. Carter, a retired nurse who'd once caught Karen kicking her cat's food bowl, stepped forward. "You've made this place hell, Karen," she said, her voice trembling with years of pent-up frustration. "You don't get to bully us anymore." The crowd murmured in agreement, their collective anger a tangible force. Karen's eyes darted around, searching for an ally, but found none. Even Mr. Thompson, the quiet widower who usually stayed out of drama, nodded solemnly. Karen's bravado cracked, but only for a moment. "You're all jealous," she snapped, clutching the petition like a shield. "You wish you had my standards." The absurdity of the statement drew a bitter laugh from Jamal. "Standards?" he said. "You mean like yelling at kids for being kids? Or reporting Mrs. Carter's cat for loitering? Real high class, Karen." The confrontation escalated as more neighbors chimed in, their voices a chorus of grievances. Maria recounted how Karen had reported her for leaving a stroller in the hallway after a 12-hour shift. Jamal mentioned the time she'd called the police on his son for skateboarding. Even little Sophia, emboldened by the crowd, piped up, "You said my bunny was ugly." The accusation, so small yet so personal, drew a collective gasp. Karen's face twisted, but she had no retort. The landlord, Mr. Patel, arrived the next day, his expression grim. He'd reviewed the petition and spoken to the tenants. Karen's history of complaints, dozens of them, meticulously documented, painted a clear picture. "Ms. Karen," he said, standing in the courtyard as the neighbors watched, "your lease is being terminated. You have 30 days to vacate." Karen's jaw dropped, her hands shaking. "You can't do this," she cried. "I'll sue." But Mr. Patel was unmoved. "The tenants have spoken," he said. "This is a community, not your personal kingdom." The days that followed were a mix of triumph and tension. Karen's tantrums echoed through the halls as she packed, her complaints now directed at the movers she'd hired. The neighbors, meanwhile, reclaimed the courtyard. The kids returned, their laughter louder than ever, as if daring Karen to complain one last time. Maria and Jamal organized a small barbecue to celebrate, the smell of grilled burgers filling the air. Mrs. Carter brought her cat, who lounged on a bench, unbothered. Even Mr. Thompson showed up, a rare smile on his face. On Karen's last day, she stood in the courtyard, surrounded by boxes, her face a mask of defiance. "You'll regret this," she muttered, glaring at Maria. But Maria just smiled. "We're already happier," she said, as Karen's moving truck pulled away. The neighbors gathered one last time. Sophia ran up to Maria, holding out her stuffed bunny. "She's gone," she said, her eyes bright. Maria hugged her tight, feeling the weight of months of frustration lift. The courtyard was quiet that evening, save for the soft thump of a soccer ball and the chatter of kids. The petition, now framed, hung in the laundry room, a reminder that unity could topple even the most stubborn tyrant. Karen's reign was over, and the Oakwood apartments felt like home again. The lesson was clear: no one, not even a Karen, could silence a community's spirit forever. The end.